is a ripening of a positive imprint. So when it finishes also. And then maybe a negative imprint is ripening, and then the good feeling is gone, and then we think the practice is not working. So if you go and see Lama and you say that you have these wonderful experiences in your meditation, they go like, you're not meditating. You're not understanding anything. You go and say, oh, I can't meditate, I'm so distracted and I have pain everywhere, and they say, good. You understand the first noble truth. You see suffering. We see we have a totally wrong concept of meditation. Because this is these mindfulness ads that are telling us, you have a problem, practice mindfulness. You're unhappy, practice mindfulness. You have a problem with your children, practice mindfulness. You're too fat, practice mindfulness. You're depressed, practice mindfulness. Yeah, it will help you to some extent, but not very far. If you do not do the whole package. It's good, it's good. It's better than not doing anything, it's better than getting into drugs. But it's not a remedy for it. Just mindfulness does not bring you to awakening. You need to know about emptiness also. So you need to study it. So this is what I'm saying. Sometimes it's a bit misused, this whole mindfulness thing, because we want to be happy desperately. So until now, society, or like clever people who want to earn money with this, they said, buy my product, then you will be happy. Buy my product, then you will be happy. Now it's like, be mindful, then you will be happy. Come and learn with me, then you will be happy. Yeah, it's merchandised, mindfulness at the moment. And compassion, same thing. I mean, you go into a library, or you go into the internet and look, book on compassion. You have thousands of books that come up. Thousands of books. Peace of mind, thousands of books who come up. There's a lot of money in there. But we shouldn't have that motivation to earn money. This is like the cup that is spoiled, the cup that is contaminated. When we hear these teachings, we should learn them so that we want to apply it to ourselves. Then if you have the ability to, you have people who ask for teachings, then. You see, I have a vow, or there's a rule in Tibetan Buddhism, you're not offering it. If somebody asks you for teachings, then you give it. But you're not going around saying, hey, I can give you teachings. That's great. Because you don't need to sell anything. Yeah? Nobody asks, you don't teach. That's really nice. Then there's also no misuse. Yeah? Somebody wants it, you give it. Nobody wants it, you apply it to yourself, there's no problem. So this would be the attitude, the motivation. You listen to these teachings, not because there are many therapists who come and listen to the teachings because they want to apply it to their patients. That would be wrong attitude. It seems to be good attitude, but it's not really. It's not the right attitude to listen to Dharma teachings. Because the more you know to apply it to yourself, the more then you can teach others. Otherwise, it's just theory. Yeah.
But maybe bringing this knowledge to people who doesn't know it, it's part of, it's like, it's I don't know how to say it, it's like giving the actions. It's part of bodhicitta, I think, no? Exposing this knowledge to people who has not the chance to.
Well, if you really understand, yeah. If you really think, wow, I have something to give to people. But even the Buddha was asked. The Buddha didn't get up and went to teach.
Yeah,
he was asked.
That's what you're saying.
You see, what I'm saying is, like, if somebody invites me and then they make, like the Dharma friends invite me and then they make publicity, that's not the same thing because the publicity is not coming from my side. I am not putting myself on the internet saying I can do this and I can do that. This is what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is that there are people who don't know that this teaching exists, and if they knew, maybe they want it, but they don't know. So one thing is to expose this teaching.
This is why there is internet and all this is why website and all that.
Yes, I look for it and I find it.
Exactly. If people are looking for it,
not everybody looks for it.
But we don't want.
It's in the car,
But-
fine.
You know, giving something to somebody who doesn't want it, this is terrible.
No, but what I say is that maybe there are people who don't know they want it.
That's okay.
Because they don't know it
It
exists.
exists.
But
So
this,
they don't have, also they don't have ears.
To listen.
No, I think
this
so.
therapist doesn't think he will expose the
Ah.
Buddhism.
Okay.
You understand, Alana?
A therapist
Only
who comes to learn to apply it to his patients, the therapist not necessarily has to wish to practice it for himself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I think the first it's for,
Yeah.
for
Exactly. So we shouldn't go and start to learn Dharma because you want to become a teacher. That should not be the
yeah,
motivation.
that I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think the second maybe the second step is to expose to others.
Yeah, but it is exposed to others, but not by me. It is exposed to others by the Dharma friends or whoever group invites me. Anyway, that's the rule. So I'm keeping to that rule. I like that rule.
It's the rule. It's what do you mean the rule? It's an
It's a
unwritten rule.
Buddhist rule actually, because even the Buddha had to be asked to teach. And there were people who were looking for teaching, so they went to ask. And he refused to get up and come and teach because he said, "Oof, people are so confused. I think it will confuse them even more." And then Brahma or Indra, I can't remember, who said, "Please come to teach for those who have just little dust in their eyes. So it needs just, and then the dust goes. Yeah, my eyes are dust and oil and mixed and plastered. Yeah,
There is another thing to it.
huh?
You are not allowed to go and announce that
On a
you
mission.
teach.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, you are making yourself a perfect teacher
then.
that in case someone will ask, that
Yeah.
you will be the perfect teacher.
But you're making yourself a perfect teacher because you want to practice, basically.
There is a difference between practice and between...
Yeah, okay, that's. You don't agree on that? So
No, I
let's-
think
let's
this is
leave
the
it.
main thing because people in the modern world, it's not
Huh?
something in the modern world, you go and you learn a little bit and then you announce your great teacher.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who say they are doing psychotherapy according to Buddhism.
Yeah.
They done a weekend workshop. If you ask them what is the Four Noble Truths, they don't even know that. Like, or maybe they know that, you know, the suffering, but the meaning behind it is like, it's not. So this is why, because you can merchandise Buddhism at the moment. You can merchandise mindfulness at the moment. Yeah, people go for it, which is a good thing, so use it. If you really think you're a good mindfulness teacher, then use it. It's fine. Somebody asks you. Alisa, did you want to say something?
I got to Buddhism through looking out for mindfulness class.
Yeah,
So then I said, why not going to the root?
yeah, exactly, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying.
And
It's
I
not,
left I didn't go to learn mindfulness.
it's not a bad thing, this mindfulness thing. But
Yeah,
also...
But
so-
you have to know the root. If you
yeah,
have
that
to
would
get
be
it
the
right.
ideal, but many people stay with mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's very popular at the moment because it's easy. And you have results quite quickly also. That's the thing. Because you experience a calm mind. Huh?
Short time result.
Yeah, short time result. But you still have problems. This is the thing. Yeah? You still have a mind that is sometimes unruly. So like that. So I'm not saying anything against mindfulness. I'm a little bit sad for what it's being used, and I'm definitely sad when I see that people are exploiting it and asking a lot of money for it. This is what I'm sad about. You know, they kind of take these teachings and are not really clear where it comes from because they're afraid, oh, if people know that it's Buddhism, then they think it's religious and then they're not coming. Because that's true, on top of it. People are so fed up with religion, and I agree, we should abolish religion. Religion at the moment is creating more problems than it brings happiness. I totally agree with it. I understand people when they say I'm fed up with religion. It's true. Anyway. Constantly cultivate only a peaceful mind or a happy mind. So joy has causes. Pleasure also has causes, but it's usually outside causes. And then it's very short-lived, because when the cause is finished, the joy is finished. So joy, Prithvi in Sanskrit, very nice word. Prithvi in Sanskrit is, the cause for joy is what? We all want to be happy, we don't know the causes. What is the cause for joy and happiness?
Joy and happiness,
Result
life
of
and
our
karma.
karma, result of our
Yeah, but what is the precise cause? What are the causes?
good deeds, isn't it?
Yeah?
Practicing the six perfections.
Yeah, much lower than that.
Lower?
Lower than that. The lowest.
Because it's for happiness.
Ethical conduct.
Ah,
Ethical conduct. Being a non-harming person. Ethical conduct. Having integrity. Saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing these things. I know I could save money if I cheat now, but no, I'm not cheating, therefore I spend the money. You know? It's so funny. I told people this thing about the business lunch. Somebody was inviting me for lunch, and I ordered one dish, because the dishes here in the restaurants is like, they're huge. And so she said, you can have a business lunch and with a starter. I said, I don't want a starter. She said, it's cheaper. I said, I don't care. It's 3 shekel cheaper. I said, yeah, well, okay. Then you get a coffee. I don't want a coffee. She thought I was totally loopy, because I didn't jump on that thing. Also, people who in the street, they want to give me a credit card where it doesn't cost anything for a yearly fee. And I say, I don't mind paying that yearly fee. I don't want the hassle of changing the credit card. They think you're stupid. In India, when I was there was black market to change the money. So you got more money on the black market, and you had to wait less long than in the bank. So I said, I'm not going to the black market. I don't need more money. I have enough money. Why would I do something illegal if I can go do something legally on the bank? But this is the mind when it's like, ooh. You see, ethical conduct, the moment it's in disadvantage of us, we're not interested in it anymore. The moment it becomes expensive, we're not interested in ethical conduct anymore. Injustice, we are very much disturbed by injustice, but only when it's against us or the ones that we identify with. When we benefit from the injustice, we're not so disturbed by it anymore. So this is what we have to learn. When we see injustice, to be disturbed, even if it's in our favor. See what I mean? So ethical conduct is one of the causes for happiness. Loving kindness is a cause for happiness. If your heart is filled with love, you're happy. Not attachment. I want him to make me happy. Whatever he does, may he be happy. You have a peaceful heart. Compassion, you have a peaceful heart. Bodhicitta, you have a peaceful heart. Your life takes a lot of meaning. As I said, there's nothing more noble than that. The attitude, the wish to attain full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. You don't need to be rich, you don't need to be beautiful, you don't need to have university degrees. It's accessible for everybody. Poor, rich, old, young, beautiful, ugly, fat, thin, fit, not fit. It's open to anybody, because we have Buddha nature. So isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Humor is a cause for a happy mind. Not taking everything so dead seriously. Teenagers don't have humor. I don't know if you remember when you were a teenager, or when you remember, if you have children, you remember your children when they were teenagers? How they take everything so serious, how they get upset about everything, and no humor whatsoever, not able to laugh about themselves at all. Yeah. So all humans have humor except for teenagers. So it is a very difficult state. Because you try to find your identity, so you want to be something different from your parents. You know what they're telling you is right. But you can't do the same thing as they because you want to be different. So from the beginning you know what you're doing is wrong, it's not going to get you anywhere, but still the mind who wants to be an individual needs to go through these steps. It's a very difficult state, so be patient with them. They will change, they also change. Teenager age also changes. So this is how we can maintain a happy mind, by creating these causes. Generosity. If you give because you want to give, yeah, just remember when you gave a gift to somebody, you went shopping, you were looking, you bought it, you gave it. It's a happy mind. There are many opportunities to have a happy mind, to create the causes for a happy mind. Like to go to bed and think, today I didn't hurt or harm anybody. I didn't gossip about anybody. I didn't lie to anybody. I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. See, it seems not good enough when I'm with dying people sometimes, and they're a bit, kind of like that. And so I haven't really done anything big. So I said, okay, but have you done anything big, harming somebody big? And they go, no. I said, wow. You know how many people are in this world who do big negative actions? So you know one of them. We should learn to rejoice in being a harmless person before we run out helping others, by the way. But it's not good enough. We want to be heroes. So then our good deeds, we need to see, why do I want to do them? Because I want to show off? Or why do I want to have these good deeds? Why is it not enough for me just to be a non-harming person? When you are depressed, in the evening you think, great, I have this depression that prevents me from going out and harming others. And from spending money. Perfect! This is skillful thinking. This is maintaining a happy mind. To see the benefit of things. The glass is always either half full or half empty. Depends how you look at it. Okay? The measure of trained mind is that it has turned away. Turned away from what? Turned away from what? I think that one is not in Jürgen Trumper's book. Turned away from what? What are we turning away from? Starts with S.
Perception of me and
starts with S. Pleasures, samsaric pleasures. That's what we turn away. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all sufferings. Why? They're uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Now, having them is not the problem. Seeking them is the problem. Spending a lot of energy, time, thoughts, money for samsaric pleasures, because what's the shortcomings of pleasures? They don't last. They don't last, no matter how expensive they are. The happy feeling about the object does not last.
It can harm you.
Huh?
It can harm you.
Okay. Second one is
It doesn't bring
they're not reliable. The same object sometimes makes you happy, sometimes no. The same ice cream sometimes makes you happy, sometimes not. You can't rely on them. Loving kindness for somebody, you can always rely on it. It always makes you happy. The third one is what Itai said. How can it harm you?
I meant like with food. If you eat a burger, it can be tasty. If you eat too much, your stomach will hurt.
Makes you dependent. It makes you look for more and more and more. See, this is why many people have a problem with food, because we're looking for happiness in the food. And because we can never find it, we have to keep looking. This is why all these recipes come up, more and more and more, books, and then vegan, and then this, and then that style, and this style, and raw food, and this style, and that style. It's like, there's no end to it. So if you think, I'm eating this food in order to have a healthy body so I can practice well on the path in order to benefit all sentient beings, That's okay. But when you really look what is behind eating healthy food, is I want to be healthy. Point. Finished. Is the bodhicitta really there? When we look after our body. By saying, I need a healthy body in order to benefit others. It's there. Good. If it's there, fantastic. Usually it's not there. Usually I just want to be healthy. Point, that's it. Self-grasping, self-cherishing. If at least you can think, I want to be healthy, so all the money that goes into the health insurance is for others. Okay, that's already a bit more broad. We're not thinking like, we get angry when we see that people have huge bills who eat all these burgers. Yeah, okay. So you pay the money for the people, and then you see somebody having a huge bill because he has lung cancer because he smokes. Are you happy that he can get treated with your money?
Yes, I said
Yes, good. Tipi says yes. Everybody also? Think, good thing that I don't need money from the health insurance, that I have a healthy lifestyle so that the health insurance can pay his bill. If you can think like that, that's fantastic. That is compassion. And then we don't suffer. But look next time, when you see somebody who is smoking, drinking, and has this really fancy wheelchair, like electric wheelchair, who costs loads of money, and you see that he created his sickness by drinking and smoking, let's see if you're happy. I know. I'm not saying you know. I'm just saying.
The
Look,
other day we were talking
use
to
your inner witness when you see somebody like this, and yet they continue to smoke and to drink.
It's their problem.
We just develop
I have a sister
compassion.
like this. I love her very much. She drinks and she smokes.
That's very good. When we feel connected to them, we don't get angry. A very good example. If it's your neighbor who listens to heavy metal until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and you can't sleep, has parties, smokes, drinks, is in a wheelchair because he's got, like, all his arteries are closed because of the nicotine, you still happy? Still love him very much?
I didn't have this experience.
Or you imagine? Maybe more difficult. We would feel less connected. Okay? If I see an alcoholic, I feel pretty much connected because I was an alcoholic. I know I could have finished like that. I'm very happy that I didn't. I don't get angry. I know how difficult it is to get off these things. So yeah, so how it harms us, it's like we overconsume because we don't find the happiness that we want, so you need to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, and then we become addicted. And I can tell you as an alcoholic, you become addicted, it doesn't do anything for you anymore. You need the stuff and it doesn't do anything for you. What you did at the beginning, it stops working, but you still need the stuff. That's the problem. Then you need more and more and more and more. So, always maintain a peaceful or happy mind. The measure of a trained mind is that it has turned away from samsaric pleasures. They come, fine, we enjoy them, and we think, so wonderful, somebody created this dish for me, this ice cream, this hamburger, whatever. Somebody gave his life for my hamburger, for example. Yeah? So we say, thank you. For you, I will want to attain enlightenment really quickly. And that can be totally hypocritical excuse for continuing to eat meat, or it can be genuine. That you don't know if it's not in your mind, that thought. We can use bodhicitta as a total hypocrite, saying, yeah, I'm harming others now so that they learn a lesson. I've seen people hiding behind such a motivation. Danielle?
Sometimes you say that with samsaric pleasures, with like the sense pleasures, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of, if they come, great, and if not, then leave them alone. But sometimes, I think, sometimes these pleasures kind of actually, if I'm looking at the ego and the sense of connectedness and not grasping to the eye, that it actually helps. Like if I'm looking at a beautiful sunset, or if I'm dancing, or then actually it's it's not just nice and okay, comes great, doesn't come okay. It actually might help, no?
Okay, you used sunset. Why does a sunset make us happy? Why?
Gotcha. Appreciate the
We cannot own it.
It's free.
One thing is it's free, but it's not just because it's free. We can't own it. We can't say, this is my sunset, I saw it first, you look away. There's no attachment. Also we know, even if I'm attached to the sun, it will still go. Yeah? So rainbows, sunsets, these kind of things, nature, is not because the happiness comes from out there. It's because one thing is we are in a good state of mind. Because if you have a toothache, that sunset can do nothing for you. If your partner has just left you, and I come and say, Daniel, let's go and see the sunset. You say, what shall I do with the stupid sunset? Yeah? So the pleasures only work when we're happy. They don't work when we're unhappy. And this is what we're trying to make people experience pleasures when they're unhappy. It won't work. Because the mind is unhappy. So it cannot see the beauty of the sunset. Because there is no beauty in the sunset. But what creates the happy feeling is you're present. You're not grasping. And you're just present. And that's it. You're not saying, oh, rainbows, last time I saw it, it was, the red was there, and now it's here. I prefer the red to be here. We're not manipulating these things, because we know we can't. We give up control. That's what creates the happiness. So if you see it like this, then it's very good to go every evening to go and look at the sunset. And then see what happens if you go every evening to look at the sunset. What will happen?
Sometimes it's nice, sometimes not that much.
You will get bored with it, totally. It loses all its beauty. So that's what we do with the repeating. So it doesn't have any effect anymore. Yeah? So a happy feeling comes because a positive imprint is ripening. We think the happy feeling comes from consuming the object. It is not. It's not. If there's a happy feeling, it's because there was an unhappy feeling of wanting. And when we get, for a short moment, absence of wanting is there. And then it's happiness. And then we think that is happiness. So we start to explore pleasures. What is so fantastic about the sunset? And then people try to make pictures. Yeah, we try to conserve it. Forget it. Your picture never gives what the sunset is. The sun is much too small. The light is much too strong. You would need a very, very good camera to really, really catch it properly. Plus an objective. With your smartphone, forget it. Don't even try. Just be present without grasping. Let the sun go. By the way, the sun is not going. It's another illusion. So you can use it as that. It looks as if the moon is growing and decreasing. The moon is always round. The moon is always full. It looks as if the sun is setting. The sun is not setting. The world is turning. So for all this you can use it. Then it's great. But if you need an ice cream or a sunset, go and have it. So that you are relaxed. Yeah? So when you're very angry, do not take pleasures away from you, because you get even angrier. Give yourself the pleasures. It's very important. Make your life very comfortable if you feel that you suffer from anger. It's very important. And then work with the mind. Then work with anger when you feel safe and comfortable. This one is quite very complicated. There are 5 great marks of a trained mind that we can measure ourselves. So I don't know if I want to burden you with that. Maybe just briefly. You don't need to remember. This is to measure ourselves. So one is a great being. The first one is called a great being. Is the essence of his practice is bodhicitta. Never is discouraged and always thinks about karma. That is one mark of a great being. Of these 5. Yeah? Do you see what I mean? Like a mark is like female, male. There's marks to see whether it's female or a male. So there's 5 of these great beings. So the first one is called great being. The second one is called keeper of discipline. He is totally convinced of law of cause and effect, and is avoiding even the slightest negativity. That is called a keeper of discipline. The third one is called great ascetic, can bear every hardship without any problem, which is a hardship that is connected to the practice, without any problem. And doesn't let the delusions free rein. He kind of holds them in. The first one is a great practitioner, is always applying the aspects of Mahayana. He practices the 10 perfections. Yeah, like we know about 6 perfections, but then there's 4 more on the 10 levels of a bodhisattva, which is method, like constantly acting only with bodhicitta. Then the next one is power. You look at all the aspects like motivation, object, action, and finishing the action. Everything with an understanding of emptiness, dependent arising. And then the last one is the last of these 4 missing perfections is prayers. You know, like the power of prayer. So like the medicine Buddhas, when you read about the medicine Buddhas, they made specific promises or prayers. It's like when a kid says, when I am big, I want to be a pilot. So they, on the Bodhisattva path, they say, when I'm a Buddha, I want to be able to help people in such and such and such difficult situations. So that power of the wishful thinking, also the power of prayer, leads them to awakening. Doesn't mean that the medicine Buddhas can take away your karma, but the power of wanting to do it made them Buddhas. So that's the power of prayer. And they can interfere somehow. The 5th one is called the great yogi. Always practices the 2 bodhicittas with everything that he or she does. So there are 5 great marks of a trained mind. Okay, so this one is for us, I think, not so relevant yet, because I don't go into any of these categories yet. It's good to know that when I see that I make progress on the path, I can check, okay, where am I now? Am I a great practitioner or am I a great being or what? Yeah. So like this. Also, Chogyam Trungpa's book is not there. That's a Gelug thing again, you know, about these lists and this and that, putting everything into categories. The trained mind remains controlled even when distracted. So this is what it means, like a very agile horse that slips, but it also takes the power of the slipping, or the energy of the slipping, to catch itself. So even when we have anger, even when we have attachment, we use that energy to come back to what we're actually doing. So when we fall down, when we have no energy, when we are off the path, or when we're full of doubts, then it increases the strength to practice, because we want to practice. The wake-up call, basically. So this is the trained mind retains control even when distracted. Like your awareness, this, because it has to do with meditation, like this open awareness, being aware of everything what's happening in the mind. At the moment we're only aware when we really, with effort, bring the mind to look at the mind. But this becomes a habit. So you notice being angry without needing to with effort turn the mind inside. You notice the little here, and you know, oops, anger in the mind. So you use that energy to come into the present, and like the horse who uses the energy of the slipping to catch itself, to get back up. Yeah? Okay. So that's it. So we did number 5. Very good. So can we do 10 minutes meditation on compassion and chant the mantra of Chenrezig? We turn the light down. You get used to only the green light. At the moment, at the beginning, it looked as if it's totally dark. Then the eyes get used to it.
We can leave the they like.
Yeah, also, but these ones we turn on.
We could take maybe like 5 minutes just to drink and
Yeah, okay, 2 minutes. 2 minutes break.